Hello everyone and welcome back to the Toby channel. It's time for another Fantasy EFL Game Week preview. This time it's Game Week 19, another massive double game week. We've got so much to unpack this week. It's another huge week. The week's just racking up, the double game weeks especially, thick and fast now. We're nearly at the halfway point in the season. We are lucky enough to be joined for Experts Corner by the world number 35 as well, FPL Warrior, so stay tuned later on in the video for his part in Experts Corner. It's very exciting, another massive week, so let's not waste any time and let's get into it. However, of course, before we can go any further, we've got to recap Game Week 18, and to be fair, I was raging with the week. I thought that it had gone really badly, but I have actually got a green arrow and moved on upwards, which earlier on in the season I was finding very difficult, so can't complain too much. I think a lot of the bonuses went really well for me, but there were also a lot of things that didn't go too well. Callum Wright, for example, my captain. I know a lot of people did captain him this week, which sort of makes it not as bad, but it's still very annoying. Didn't play in the second game. He wasn't in the squad. I guess he must have picked up some kind of injury or illness. Matu Siwa had an interception removed as well, but equally he was a little bit lucky not to get a red card, so I don't think we can complain too much with that one. And the Hartridge swing as well went with us against Lofthouse, the same for Wigan against Burton, so that's, those are pretty good signs. But equally the Davis and O'Shea swing, there was a 6-point swing in there as well. A Hashi versus Johnson, which we were heavily debating too, was an 11-point swing, but to be fair I was probably always going to go for a Hashi because of the penalty threat, so yeah, maybe shouldn't be complaining too much. But yeah, I suppose it's a good thing that the Davis owners were rewarded for their bravery, because a lot of the time it's easy to just go for those clearance-based picks who are really good with the bonuses, but it's good to see the pick, a pick with a high ceiling of a Davis coming through for people. So moved on upwards from 4.3k to 3.9k, which again I don't think we can complain too much about. It was 3.7k until we lost 3 points overnight, but it is what it is. The Wigan clean sheet was very good. There were a couple of things that did go our way, so shouldn't complain too much. It could have been a lot worse, but would have just liked a bigger green arrow, but we can't be too greedy. We've had 7 weeks in a row now with a green, so we're on the charge. We're moving through the pack towards the front. The top 1k is what I aimed for, and it looks like it's going to be very possible. Maybe we should aim higher than that, but yeah, I'd be very happy with a triple digit result at the end of the season. So it is what it is. We'll move on to another big week, and yeah, Game Week 18 out the way. I hate those weeks with just like 4 teams doubling. They are very tricky, so onto a better one this week. So just a very quick bit of key information for this week. If you're not aware already, it's a double game week in Game Week 19. All the championship teams are doubling as well, and then there's 4 League 1 teams who are doubling. Nobody in League 2 because of the FA Cup weekend, and then only a few of the League 1 teams because there's a few conditions that have to be met for them to have been doubling this week. But it's Cardiff, Huddersfield, Bradford and Plymouth all doubling. So Cardiff, Huddersfield and Bradford, 3 pretty strong teams as well, and then Plymouth one to target in there too, which always helps those fixtures out. But the championship ones are pretty tricky. But yeah, let's have a bit of a deeper dive into the club picks and see who we're really fancying the look of this week. Before we dive into the club picks, I've got to say a big thank you for all the support on the channel recently. The growth has just been tremendous. It feels like just yesterday we were going for that 500 sub mark, and now we're pushing towards 600, well and truly on the road to 1000, which would just be an absolute dream to hit. So if you've not hit subscribe already, please do as well, and hit the like button too. Let's see if we can get 75 likes on the video. Is that possible? I don't know if I've got 75 likes on a video yet, so maybe that's being optimistic. But if you don't normally press like, then go for it. I know James and Darren and John hit like, why not? It's free, completely free. It helps out the channel a lot. Anyway, onto the club picks. Enough yap, enough self-promotion. Do watch my EFL Panini pack opening videos though as well, because I got a new one out the other day as well, and it's a very good video with a very emotional part at the end as well. So watch that. There'll be a card at the end of the video as well that you can just click on straight through, but obviously stick through this video first. But yeah, onto the club picks anyway. And we're going to start with Coventry, because I feel like in a double game week when championship teams are doubling, we should always talk about Coventry, about whether it's worth using one of your team picks on them or not. I would say this week, don't do it. I don't like the look of their fixtures. Although Coventry are just unbelievable, aren't they? They could win both games in any double against anybody, because they're just a league above. I think that they're 10 points clear at the top of the league, something along those lines, which is genuinely ridiculous. But as I say, they are in a league of their own. Ipswich and Preston, though, are tricky fixtures, tricky places to go, especially. Ipswich and Preston they've both been pretty inconsistent. Like, you feel like you could back them. They're going to, have been on a good run. and they're getting wins together, and then they drop points against somebody down the bottom of the table. So Coventry could definitely win both of them, but I could see them dropping points in both of them as well. So I would just stay away from it, even though their data, especially their expected goal data, which just seems to be getting better somehow when it's been astronomical all season anyway, is really, really good. But I just think that I would save them for a different week and then use one of those kind of differential picks that you're not going to be nearing, the 5 picks for the course of the season with. 2 of those that I really, really like are Blackburn and or Watford. I think that their fixtures are just unbelievable this week. Blackburn, who's, the difficulty of their fixtures, they're averaging 22nd in the league as a place. Watford 23.5, and they're both at home as well, by the way, for Watford. So on paper and in theory, and maybe not even in theory, they are the best fixtures you could possibly get at home to the 2 bottom teams, 23rd and 24th in the table. Watford as well. I think they've only lost 1 home game all season, which was to Blackburn near the start of the season as well. So I don't see why not. I think that Watford, I could see them getting like a 10-12 pointer, which in a week where the fixtures are really tricky for a lot of the top teams, I don't think would be a disaster. But equally, they could win both of those games as well. Obviously, them and Blackburn, they're both teams who haven't been amazing over the course of the season. So don't be surprised if, don't be too shocked if they don't end up winning both of those games. But I just think that the fixture play, when the top teams have really tricky fixtures and they seem really unpredictable, just to go for teams like that you're not going to, stack out 5 use on over the season, I feel pretty good about it. But equally, one of those top teams that you might want to look at is Bradford. Their fixtures, again, they're both away, but they're playing 23rd and 24th in the league. The Plymouth fixture especially, Tolaj is out injured, who has just been scored, not injured, I think he's suspended actually, for Plymouth, who has been scoring all of their goals as well. And then Port Vale, I've got it written down here, they have scored 1 goal in their last 8 games. For 6 league games in a row, that's league games by the way, the last 8 league games, for the last 6 league games they haven't scored, which is ridiculous. They have such good fixtures for Bradford too. So it's definitely between those 3 for me, but I think Cardiff are a bit of an outside shout, top of League One, but Huddersfield and Stevenage are tricky fixtures. So I'd probably stay away, but if you're like a Cardiff fan, if you've sat there wearing your Cardiff shirt, I'm not a Cardiff fan by the way, but I thought that it was pretty topical to put it on this week. Then maybe you want to go for it this week. They did get a big win against Mansfield, I think it was, last time out as well. Sheffield United are flying up the table. The Stoke fixture is very tricky, but the Norwich one is very nice. 2 home games as well. The data is looking increasingly good for Sheffield United, so maybe you want to go for them, and their strikers are hitting some real nice form as well at the moment. And then Birmingham too have been in very good form, but it's just their home games that I feel a lot more comfortable with than the away ones. But their defensive data really, really good. Southampton and QPR could be worse fixtures too, so not the worst idea in the world. A bit of an outside shout if you want to go for Birmingham rather than one of those teams like a Blackburn and Watford who are pretty inconsistent and are pretty tricky to predict. But I feel good about them at the minute. It's definitely between Blackburn, Watford and Bradford for me. I think Middlesbrough, Hull and Charlton, outside shouts. But those ones that I've really honed in on, they're the ones that I'm liking this week. Onto the defenders now. I'm a little bit ill this week, by the way. If I sound a little bit different or anything, I'm struggling with my throat a bit, but I've got to power through and get the video out for everybody. But yeah, the defenders that I'm liking the look of course, as I mentioned before, we've got to talk about Thomas from Coventry. And this could be Van Aywick, this could be Kitching as well, who obviously scored 2 goals either game week 2. But I still don't think that, if you're really struggling for a defensive pick and you're not sure on certain ones, why not just chuck a Thomas in and play it safe? His attacking data has just been crazy. The fact he's got 7 assists from centre-back is nuts. Can he keep it up forever? Probably not. But equally, when, things are just going that way for Coventry at the moment, maybe it's still worth just backing one of the top teams. They're the best team in the division. Not necessarily the best defence, but still a great side with some great individuals in it. So I don't think Thomas is the worst idea in the world. Jones, I don't hate the fixtures whatsoever. The clearances are great. Got his first goal of the season the other week, which, to be fair, had been coming. I was very disappointed that I didn't have him in the team myself. Because he scored like 5, they conceded 5 even, in the game. And then he goes and scores and gets a really nice haul in a game where they concede 5. It just feels really mean on the people who didn't pick him. But equally, if he went for him, then fair play. But yeah, I think that he is a pretty good shout this week. The Portsmouth fixture I really like. The Middlesbrough one, not quite as much, but still... I think that Charlton with 2 games at home, you'd usually expect a clean sheet, but they are on a really bad run at the moment. So go there carefully, but I think in terms of the bonuses, the goal threat is okay. I don't think Jones is the worst pick in the world. Alabiosu, the fixtures, as we mentioned before, Sheff Wednesday and Oxford for Blackburn. So good. Got a clean sheet in the last game week too, which was very nice. His tackle bonuses are very solid, but the clearance is not really there. But do like Alabiosu. And Vestergaard, similarly to Thomas really, but this one's just more of a bonuses play. I love his clearances. His tackles are really good. He seems to get 4 or 5 points pretty much every single game. So if you're really unsure on a player to pick, I think Vestergaard in terms of bonuses is really, really solid. Just, yeah, I wouldn't really expect a clean sheet from the Derby and Bristol fixtures. Right from Bradford, as I said, Port Vale haven't scored for 6 league games in a row, and Plymouth without their leading scorer. I think that Bradford's defence is really one to look at as well. And Walker, the Bradford keeper, I know that some people ask for a keeper section, but I just think it would be too similar to the defenders section for, you know, to be worth including. But I would be looking at Walker as a keeper this week as well. Feel nice about it. And Ngakia for Watford, again, we love the fixtures, but Watford have actually only kept 1 clean sheet over 90 minutes, but Ngakia's got 2 clean sheets because of an early sub earlier in the season. But yeah, I like those fixtures. I don't know how I feel about the chance of a clean sheet just because of how bad their defence has been over the course of the season in terms of not getting clean sheets over the line anyway. But the attacking threat is definitely there with 2 goals and 3 assists and some decent XGI per 90. And then Bagan is our last pick as well. A bit of an outside shout because Cardiff, their defence hasn't been amazing recently, but at the start of the season it was really, really good. Bagan's a very attacking player as well. And I think that he's on right-sided corners, potentially, or he's taken quite a few of them over the course of the season. Shout out to the boys, they know who they are, who helped me out with those numbers too, to find out if he was on set pieces or not. But yeah, I don't really like the fixtures for Bagan. But that Stevenage one, I don't think is the worst, because Stevenage don't score many. They seem to have quite a few 0-0s. It's a bit of an outside shout, not the worst in the world, because I think it's a very tricky pick to decide on defenders. I think there'll be a lot of people double up on Bradford. I think that some people will just back Jones because it's a bit of a safer pick as well, which I'm definitely tempted by. And similarly with the Coventry assets too, it's just because they're that good, even though the fixtures aren't nice, all the other fixtures aren't perfect, so do you just go for those? I don't know. Definitely liking Bradford, and I just think that the other spots are so open to choose between this week. Okay, strap yourselves in for the midfielders section this week because it's massive, and I think that there's some really good picks, but a lot of them you've got to tread carefully this week because there's so many midfielders who are on 4 yellow cards, and it's getting to that time of the season where we're not too far off, you know, that point where the 5 yellow rule goes out the window, and I think it goes up to 10 yellows. But we're at that time now where it's getting a bit risky for quite a lot of assets, and a lot of these on the screen, these look like the best assets for the week, but they are on 4 yellows, so you've got to tread carefully. One of those who is going to be so popular is Imran Loser, so be aware if you're going to pick him, he's on 4 yellow cards as well. And also Kayembe's minutes haven't been too bad, and he seems to be on penalties over Loser at the moment, so there's certainly scope to not go for Loser this week and to look elsewhere, but I do think that he is just such a good asset. The interceptions are nearly second to none, and also the attacking threat is so good. I think it's probably worth the risk. It's just if you then risk captaining him, which I'm not too sure about. I was like certainly going to be on Loser captain, and then I found out that he's on 4 yellow cards after doing a bit of research about loads of the options. So it's a tricky one this week. Sorba Thomas is one who I don't think Sorba's on 4 yellows. I just don't like him as an asset whatsoever. You know that I've talked down on him over the course of the season, and he just keeps producing results, so fair play. But like, that goal he scored, was it last week or the week before? It was just clearly a cross that went in. Like, somebody with his numbers, with the numbers he's put up in the past as well, it's just he's having a season where everything's going for him, and a fair play. But he's not an asset that I like. The interception numbers are pretty terrible. The XGI isn't great. He's creating a lot of chances, and he can score a worldie, but how often is a cross going to go and float in the top corner? Not very often. His numbers have to come down for me, in my opinion, but I feel like every week when I say this, he ends up going and bagging a mega hole. So if you're going there, good luck to you. And there are definitely worse picks out there, especially with the whole yellow card situation. But just not a big fan of Sorba Thomas as an asset in general. Torp, though, he's on 4 yellow cards as well, so tread carefully when it comes to him. But also, like, he's just such a good asset too. The interceptions are so good, the attacking threat is decent too. He's just everything that Loser is, but not quite there, you know. But Coventry are just doing so well, especially with Radoni coming back too. I think that does actually help Torp as an asset, just because they're going to be creating even more chances, although it means that Torp is almost certainly going to be behind Radoni in terms of how attacking they are on the pitch. but I don't think that Torp is a bad pick. It's just tread carefully with the 4 yellow cards. O'Hare, I think that the fixtures are decent, but they're not, they're not perfect with the Stoke one. But I think 2 home games with how well O'Hare's been playing, he's definitely one to be looking at. Mehmeti's on 4 yellows too, which I was like certainly going to have Mehmeti in my team, and now I'm thinking, should I go there? Should I not? I don't know. But again, the fixtures are relatively tricky, but he's just one of them who every week where he seems to have bad fixtures, he seems to do well. The weeks when nobody looks at him, then the weeks when everybody puts him in, he doesn't seem to do anything. So maybe because the fixtures are kind of tricky, but equally like they're not terrible because they're both at home, maybe people aren't gonna go for him. But 6+7 goals and assists he's got this season as well. Is it a sign that he's a great asset? Who knows? Sorry about that one, guys. Hackney with Hull and Charlton. I think Hackney's on 4 yellows too. So again, another one where maybe you don't want to look at it. Peck as well. He's on 4 yellows. He was like my differential outsider. But do you want to take that risk? His form has been ridiculous recently. Hackney seems to be ticking away really nicely too as well. The interception data for Hackney and Peck, very nice as well, but the XGI isn't perfect. Both of their sets of fixtures aren't the worst in the world, so loads to think about in terms of the midfielders this week. And the honourable mentions, the Kiersmacher, I really like him over a double game week. I think he's just a steady pick. And if I wasn't scarred by when I picked him getting a 2-pointer, other than that, he's been really consistent with the interceptions. I don't think he's terrible. Sarkovic, I think the minutes are what scares me a bit, but if you just, go and start the first game, maybe it's worth taking the risk because of how some of the other midfielders are this week. And then Jack Rodoni is the one for me who, he's an amazing asset if he's starting and if he plays both of the games. But because he's coming back from injury, I wouldn't predict him to start 2 games, but I think he'll start one and then feature in the other, maybe get half an hour. But if he starts that first game, I think I might take the risk because of the yellow cards to other assets. I think that you're gambling with them anyway, whether they're going to play in the second game whatsoever. Or it only feels like he's going to, if he starts that first one, he's going to come on in the second one at some point anyway. So is it worth taking the risk with an asset like him? I think it's possible this week. Loads of information there. Some of them who I've not mentioned about the 4 yellows, it's just because maybe I'm not sure if they are or not. But I've tried to have a look at everybody. I think I've mentioned the ones that are on 4 yellows. So, yeah, that's the midfielder section for the week. Just double check with all your assets as well, if they're at risk of a suspension or not. And if that puts you off, maybe you want to change up the formation, go for more defenders or more attackers. I still think 3 midfielders is the way to go this week, but it's just getting a bit lucky with those picks, with the suspensions in there as well. But equally, maybe you just don't overthink it and you just back the players you think are going to do the best and then hope for the best that they don't get a yellow too. So much going on there, so much data, so many yellow cards. Fingers crossed, all of our players just get through unscathed, there's no drama, and then just the best assets win. Okay, on to the forwards. Okay, so the forwards now, and this is the section where I think it's the most open in terms of the assets that you want to pick. I don't think that there's necessarily just a standout correct answer in terms of the forwards. There's 1 or 2 that are jumping out more than others to me, but this is my short list that I've got for this week who we're looking at. Gelhardt has been pretty consistent in his Hull's. Hull's attacking data is really solid too. It's just their defence that lets them down, but obviously that doesn't really matter to Gelhardt if there's massive 6-goal thrillers, and that's just going to help him as an asset. So 2 home games I think is always nice no matter who it's against, but Middlesbrough and Wrexham isn't perfect because they're both pretty tight at the back. But I really think that Gelhardt is a decent shout. Similar for Stansfield as well. I'm not sure if Gelhardt's on penalties or not, but I'm pretty sure that Stansfield should be for the most part anyway. I think there might have been 1 or 2 occasions where he's not taking penalties, but he does seem to in my knowledge. But maybe if there's any Birmingham fans, you can correct me if that's wrong. I don't know if maybe Dux takes them off him potentially. But Stansfield I love it as an asset. I think Southampton and QPR are decent fixtures too. Both of them haven't been perfect this season. Southampton getting themselves together, but QPR have been slipping a bit after they looked really nice at the start of the year. The data really nice for both Gelhardt and Stansfield. In terms of data too, there's not many better than Armstrong. 0.79 expected goal involvements per 90, 2 home fixtures, albeit one of them against Birmingham, whose defence is really good. The West Brom fixture I don't mind though too much whatsoever. The key passes, the shots on target, really good for Armstrong, and I had him in my team a few weeks ago for a double game week, and he didn't score in one of the weeks, but he still got like a 6-pointer, something like that, because he just got so many shots on target. So something to consider. He's really nice in terms of the bonus points. Sims is one who has just sort of snuck up with the injuries of Thomas Asante and the injury to Torp as well. I don't know if either of them are going to be back. I don't think that BTA is back. I think on the Fantasy EFL app, it expects Wright to be back for this week, but I feel like it says that for like most assets most of the time. So that's all that I know about the Wright injury. I'm not sure, actually how bad it is. So again, if anybody knows about those injuries to BTA and Wright, please do let us know, because in the comments that will just help a lot of people out. But to me, Sims, the last few games he's been playing 90 every week. I would be shocked if then Wright and BTA are thrown in and take all those minutes off him. And he's just been scoring a hell of a lot of goals. Sims, for the minutes that he's got, the fact that he's got 7 goals and 5 assists is a testament to how many chances he gets. Also, the fact that he is a good goal scorer, even though in the past he's been known to miss a lot of chances in games. Salech is a player who's had tons of chances as well, and I think could have easily had more than 7 goals over the course of this season. His XGI has just been really, really good for Cardiff over the course of the year. Very steady. The 2 fixtures, not perfect whatsoever, but if I was going to put a Cardiff asset in this week, Salech is probably my favourite one. And I think that his minutes are relatively solid, although Robinson could potentially take a few off him. I still expect Salech to play a healthy amount of minutes, and his numbers are really good. So a bit of an outside shout there if you want a bit of a differential. But Potnick is a massive differential. He's coming into form recently, and his fixtures are really, really nice, actually. Swansea, obviously, they're not doing amazing. I think they're 21st in the league. We've got it written down there. But Oxford and Portsmouth, both at home, really good games. A striker who's in decent form. Just the XGI and the shots on target numbers, the key passes, not amazing for Potnick. But if you just want a form play and a fixture play, he's a really nice pick. Johnson, in terms of a form and fixture play, is the perfect choice, I think. I think that he's a massive differential as well, and a lot of people will probably overlook him for some of the other assets because he's not on penalties too, but Johnson is in hot form at the moment. He's been really, really good. For Blackburn, their fans absolutely loving him. Sheff Wednesday and Oxford, nearly the perfect fixtures really to have. So yeah, a very good outside shout, and he's definitely one that I'm thinking about. These Blackburn assets I keep nearly picking, and then when I go for them, they don't do very well. But I've not had Johnson in. I don't think I've had Alabi in yet. Maybe this week I'm going to finally go for one of them. Honourable mentions to Hegebo, who's in really, really good form. Gray, who's in solid form for Birmingham too. And then Cannon, who just started scoring for Sheff United, out of nowhere. Their forwards seem to be doing really well. I think Bamford got a goal the other week. Campbell did really well in the Sheffield derby too. So a bit tricky in terms of minutes predicting who's going to play them. But Cannon, to me, seems to be... he's had some really nice minutes recently, but I just wouldn't be too confident that he's going to play 180 minutes. I would imagine he gets about 120 over the course of the double. So loads to discuss there again, loads of stats, loads of chatter about forwards. As I mentioned, I think that it's just so open in terms of the forwards, and I keep asking you to let me know what you think about different things, but I would genuinely love to hear who people are thinking in terms of forwards. I'm leaning towards Sims, but I think maybe I need to look at the injuries to BTA and Wright and just look at the Coventry team on the day. If one of BTA or Wright or even both of them are on the bench for Coventry, then maybe you don't want to pick Sims. But I don't think BTA should be too much of a threat towards his minutes. Just maybe some of those chances that Sims gets might end up going towards BTA. I don't know. Yeah, really, really tricky choice in terms of the forwards. I love Sims. I love most of these picks that are on here, to be honest. Johnson, Salech are probably 2 of the other ones that I'm thinking about. But I could put any of those players who I've listed in my team, and I would be happy with them this week. Gather around, everyone. Welcome to the Experts Corner, where we put Fantasy EFL's finest minds to the test and ask them to show us their draft for the week. This week, we're lucky enough to have FPL Warrior, who's joining us. We've got his Twitter @ over there, or X, whatever you want to call it. So give him a follow if you're not already. He's a legend. Jack is his actual name. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that as well. So Jack, thanks so much for coming on. He is ranked 35th in the world at the moment, which is a stunning rank as well. And I think last year he said he finished around 300th, something like that, which again is a really steady and a very nice rank for last year. And he said he's taking it a lot more seriously this year too, which we love to see as well. I'd say I'm taking it more seriously than last year and I'm doing worse. So fair play that he's actually made that jump up. So really good stuff from Jack. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, let's hear his team.
Hi everyone, FPL Warrior here. Thanks Toby for letting me on to the Experts Corner for this week. Really exciting double game week ahead. I'm currently ranked 35th in the world. I've doubled up on the Bradford defence with Walker and Wright. I think the fixtures are really good. Port Vale haven't scored in the last 6 league games, and Plymouth don't score many, and when they do it's through Tolai most of the time. Unfortunately for them, he's suspended for this one, so therefore I'm not too sure where the goals come from for them. Bradford have kept 3 clean sheets in the last 4, and Wright, the centre-back, who I've chosen, has some goal threat and is a clearance machine too, which is a nice bonus to have. I've also gone for Lloyd Jones of Charlton. 2 home fixtures for him, Pompey and Borough, who are ranked in the bottom 5 for non-pen expected goals across the season. He's racked up the most clearances among the Championship defenders this season with 179. Pompey are one of the more direct sides in the league, which is great for clearance potential. Central centre-backs like Jones tend to get loads of clearances against them. I am less confident about the Borough game, but I still think there's a chance of a clean sheet for them and bonus potential for Jones. Feels like you've got to have Imran loser in any given Championship double game week, but in this one he's got Sheffield Wednesday and Norwich at home. Both of those teams are in the bottom 5 for non-pen XG conceded in the Championship this season. Among the Championship, he's 5th for key passes, 7th for shots on target, 9th for assists and 2nd for goals. And his baseline bonus, if you take out goals and assists, is one of the highest in the league. I think the highest actually. He also gets the odd interception too, and therefore he takes the armband, and I think he's the standout. Callum O'Hare of Sheffield United is also in there. Once again, a really nice all-round pick. He's got the same amount of goals and assists as loser, 4 goals, 6 assists, and can also get the odd interception point. He faces Stoke at home, who have been overperforming massively away from home from a defensive point of view. They've conceded 7 away, which seems impressive, but they've conceded 14.3 XG, which ranks them 6th worst actually. Norwich are 6th worst for XGC as well. I feel like Sheffield United have improved under Wilder, and they could actually be on the promotion charge if they keep playing the way they've been playing. And O'Hare's been one of the key members of their attack. Top of Coventry is also in, who is again a really nice all-rounder, and Coventry have scored a crazy number of goals this season. He plays 90 minutes pretty much, or near to 90 minutes pretty much every single game, and he's in really good form. He's scored twice, assisted 3 times, and he's grabbed 14 bonus points in his last 4 starts. He also got an assist against Wrexham coming off the bench. Ipswich away is obviously not a great fixture on paper, but I feel like they'll be a bit leadly in this one. And Preston, I think Coventry can score a few goals in that one, and Toby to be involved in 1 or 2 of them. Up top, I've got the Welsh Tower, aka Kiefer Moore of Wrexham. He's the 4th top scorer among fit and available forwards in the Championship, and he's scored 7 in 17 appearances. He gets at least 80 minutes every game, so minutes aren't really a concern for me. And Preston and Hull are 2nd and 7th worst for non-pen XG conceded at home. Hull are also ranked rock bottom for XG conceded from set pieces, and are also 3rd bottom for shots conceded from set pieces. Preston 4th bottom. With him being 6'5" and being called the Welsh Tower, I think he can certainly make his presence felt and get a goal from a set piece in maybe both of those games. A few things to note is that he's not on pens, unlike some of the other Championship forwards, and Wrexham haven't exactly set the world alight when it comes to attacking away from home, but given the fixtures, I reckon the main man Moore and Wrexham can create plenty of chances. My team picks at the moment are Bradford and Watford, mainly for fixture reasons, but also I think Bradford are a very good side, and Watford are a very good side at home. Watford have picked up 18 points in their 9 home games this season, which is one of the best home records in the division. Wednesday and Norwich are slightly better away from home, to be fair, but they're still pretty poor. Norwich have lost 3 of the last 4 away games, and Sheffield Wednesday have lost 4 of their last 5 away games. Bradford, as I said, have faced Plymouth and Port Vale, who have 2 of the worst home records in the division. I believe Port Vale have picked up 6 points, and Plymouth have picked up 7. And that, my friends, rounds up my Game Week 19 team selection. Just recording this after the Watford v Birmingham game on a Monday night. Loser picked up his 4th yellow card of the season, so if he gets another one in the first game of the double, which is against Norwich, he'll be suspended for the second game. At the moment, I'm still leaning towards picking and captaining him, because I feel like he's the standout pick this week. But if I were to change from loser, I'll probably go to Hayden Hatley of Middlesbrough. Really nice all-round pick. He takes a lot of shots, 2.4 a game, and he faces Hull, which is really nice, and Charlton, which isn't too bad either. I think the captain would go to Tanamo here, but it's quite a tough call if I went to pick loser.
Some wonderful detail in there, so thanks so much, Jack, for coming on as well. As I said, give him a follow. His X art is up on the screen. Go and show him some love because, yeah, really good job for him as well. So thanks so much. Best of luck for the week as well. And now let's see how I'm comparing in comparison to Jack. So my game week 19 team selection, here is how I'm looking. Double Bradford defence at the moment, which I'm not sure about. I don't want to double up on a defence if possible, but I just don't know who else to go for other than, you know, these Bradford picks. Maybe I could put Jones in, but it does feel a little bit boring, and I just feel like those two fixtures for Bradford, if they were at home, they would be absolutely perfect, but Plymouth without Tolaj, and then Port Vale, who just aren't scoring whatsoever, even though the XGI data is okay, I just think that it makes sense to back a team against them. So maybe doubling up on that Bradford defence just does work. But Bradford equally, like, they won their last game, but they've not been perfect recently. So I don't know. I think it's really tough in terms of defence. I feel good about Alabiosu. There's a bit of attacking threat. There's a bit of bonus threat in there too. So he's got a bit of everything for the week, and the fixtures are really nice. I've got my captaincy on loser here on the screen because it just feels right to have it there. But I just think that I might change it around. I may well go for somebody else. I'm genuinely tempted by Radoni. I'm also tempted by O'Hare because O'Hare's not on 4 yellow cards. So maybe that would be the safer play. I've got Mehmeti in there too, who's also on 4 yellows. But I just think that the level of midfielders this week, it just makes sense to take that risk and to go for, you know, 1 or 2 of these players who are on 4 yellow cards, because the ones who aren't on them I'm not as confident in, especially with like Tort being on 4 yellows as well. But maybe O'Hare and Radoni, I should go for them and then only risk it with one of them, end up captaining maybe O'Hare, probably makes the most sense. But as you can tell, my head is all over the place, but this is simply what I'm on at the moment. And I've got Sims up front, who is the forward who I'd say I'm liking the most. I love the data, I love the form, although the fixtures just aren't great. But as I say, with Coventry, I don't see them not scoring in these games. Like, they're just that good. I feel like they're almost certainly going to conjure something up, and Sims just always gets in the right place at the right time as well. If he's not scoring, he's going to be getting shots on target as well. So, yeah, it's very tricky. Watford and Blackburn, the team picks, but it could be Bradford very easily. But just love the fixtures for Watford and Blackburn. They are just so good. But equally 2 teams who you can't rely on too much. So, yeah, very unsure about a lot of it. But I think that those players and those assets on the watch list, the team is going to be something revolving those around. I think if I was going to put a different player in the team, it would probably be Radoni. I just quite fancy taking the risk, but just is it a week or two too early on him, potentially? I'll update my Twitter, my team on there if I change things around, which is probably pretty likely that something changes, as you can tell by how indecisive I'm being this week. But that's how we're looking for this week. And yeah, best of luck to everybody and how they're doing. Hopefully, I'm not being too crazy with either if I go for Radoni or with some of the 4 yellow card midfielders. Unfortunately, that's all that we've got time for this week. But thanks so much for sticking with me throughout a week where I'm struggling a little bit speaking, but I think that I've sounded fine. I've managed to survive getting through it. But yeah, just there's so many stats, so many different ways of looking at things this week, especially with all the yellow cards. There's going to be drama, I think, and there's probably a good chance that you're going to see another big crash out next week when I'm talking about how my team's done. But fingers crossed. Best of luck, everybody, and I hope that if you're backing any of these players who are risking the suspensions, then yeah, I hope that it goes fine for you as well. The loser captainers, best of luck to you. Will I be there? Will I not be? I'm not sure. We'll see this time next week anyway. We'll be back with another preview for Game Week 20. I can't believe how fast the season has been going. Thanks for 500 subs recently. Let's get to 600. Hit like, hit subscribe. Watch my EFL Panini video as well. It'll be up on the screen either now or in a few moments. So yeah, thanks for all the support. See you again next week, guys. Good luck and peace.